Hey, Al, it's Victoria. What is the number one skill that I believe I possess, and I believe that you can possess, and you probably have, that will help you in your life and specifically in your transition? I will say that the one thing that I have a skill in more than anything else is the ability of introspection and knowing myself. Um, the ability to grow and evolve and follow my truth has been 100% driven by the fact that I love to look inside and understand my motivations and understand who I am, my strengths, my weaknesses, and my desires, who I want to be, who I do not want to be, and all of those things. And so, in effect, to know thyself is the most powerful tool that any one person can possess. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't grow and evolve. Um, that becomes part and parcel with knowing thyself. Knowing thyself means knowing who you are and knowing which direction you're going. Because if you know yourself and you know where you want to go, you know who you are intrinsically, then we're always on a course of evolution. Either we're evolving towards ourselves or we are evolving away from ourselves, or possibly parallel, I guess, if you talk about parallel universes. Okay, so that aside, and let's imagine that the parallel universes don't exist for now, and we can either evolve towards or away from ourselves. And the best way you can evolve towards yourself is by knowing yourself and knowing who you are. Now, that's a skill, just like so many other things. How do we do it? It's great to say, yes, look inwards, da 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 da, but what does that actually look like? What does it feel like? What does that come down to, I guess? I will say for me, what I have done and what I love to do is I look at my behaviors and I'm like, why did I do that? And I try to analyze what it is that I do and why I do it. And then once I figure out that, I spend some time going, well, hey, wait a second. That behavior is rooted in this belief. So I have a very high, very much I come from a place of worthlessness. So definitely stems from my childhood, even though my childhood was not traumatic by any stretch of the imagination. Just the way I guess I perceived the world and all. So because of that inherent belief, I also believe that I was not worthy of anything good. And another part of that belief was that if that's the case, then everything that bad that happens must somehow be my fault. And everything that good that happens must also mean that I am not worthy of that and I should feel guilt for having it. Oh, what a terrible thing that is, right? But learning that about myself, what has that done? Now I understand that thought and I understand that behavior and I understand that feeling of guilt when I get good things. I'm like, hey, wait a second. That is rooted in that misbelief that I am worthless. But now I have done lots and lots and lots of inner work. Excuse me, lots and lots and lots of inner work to realize that A, I am not worthless, and that is something that is not true. And now I am working on myself to correct that belief. And so as a result of that, I have done a lot of work on self-love, a lot of work on loving myself and getting to know myself and getting to learn all the great things about me and learning to all the things that aren't so great things about me and all the things that I can work on myself to improve the things that aren't so great about me inherently. So this thing about worthlessness is just it's a great example. When anything bad happens, I inherently feel that it's my fault, even when it's not. So when now, let's say hypothetically, there's a situation and I know it's not my fault, and I will defend myself because I know it's not true. And that comes down and it looks very reactionary. And it's so interesting. So that kind of behavior now looks on the outside to be one thing, but it actually stems from something else. All in all, to be said that this work on actually really analyzing my behaviors and understanding where my behaviors are coming from has resulted in me knowing myself better. And knowing myself better has allowed me to work on the things that I need work on, and it has allowed me to heal some of the past traumas from my childhood and from growing up and from existing in a transphobic and queer hating world, and learn to love myself and to accept myself and to come out and to live this life. All of those steps only occurred because of the ability to look inwards. And now looking inwards is so scary. Why? Why would I do that, right? Well, it comes down to some people don't want to look inwards. They are terrified of looking inwards because they might not like what they see, or they might see something that they don't want to admit, or they may find that their behaviors are not acceptable and they don't want to change those behaviors, for example. So looking inwards is definitely something that is scary, and it requires a lot of bravery to do so, but it is so incredibly worthwhile. Why? Because every single time you learn about yourself, you become so much more of a person, so much more able to deal with the world on the outside, because there is the most powerful superpower that I have, and it is that I know myself. And I understand deeply who Victoria is. And that has allowed me to evolve over and over and over again at a pace that would have been unheard of had I not done that inner work. And the reason I know that is because before I transitioned, I was one of those people who did not look inside. I would go so far as to not drive through the gay village because I thought other people could see me through my car tinted windows and see that I was one of them. So not only was I not looking at myself inwards, I wouldn't even let other people see me who I thought could potentially see me. And now I have the exact opposite desire. I have this desire of, well, I can't wait to see what else is in that little crazy mind of Victoria, is to figure out what's next for this crazy girl. So this superpower of knowing yourself is how you get to become the person you were always meant to become. And you can do so at such an accelerated pace, ouch, when you are really understanding your motivations and your strengths and your weaknesses. Because knowing what motivates you and knowing what the root of a behavior is the fastest way to fix behaviors that are destructive and promote behaviors that are constructive, for example. So that all. It's 10 minutes, and I'm going to be trying to cut myself off at this point because I never shut up. So, your best superpower, look inside, figure out who you are. Love you. Bye.